Sure, go ahead.
Well, I keep reading about new light. So when I research about the history of the organization, there's so many changes in the teachings and the rules and things. Is there any book that is like the final truth?
I'm sorry, I don't know really what you're referring to. I think there is a book called Jehovah's Witnesses, but see, it's been refined over many, many, many decades. As new light gets brighter. For instance, as new understandings come from the Bible, we use the Bible for everything. We back up everything with the Bible, and as the decades go by, we find out, well, this is a new understanding. We can't really be smoking anymore. There was a time when Jehovah's Witnesses smoked way back. They made a date where we got to stop smoking. There was a time way back when they found out Christmas wasn't the right, wasn't really the right thing either, because of the day and it was on. It wasn't when Jesus was born, and they found out new light. So they quit celebrating Christmas. That was back in the early 1900s probably. In the 70s, the smoking issue came up, and that had to be changed. And so, yes, there's definitely, as we progress, and it's getting, most of those things have been pretty much refined, and anyway, you're right. We do get new understandings, and
You do? So are you part of that you get a new understanding? Like, because you said we. How does it work?
We're talking about Jehovah's organization. Jehovah's Witnesses are an earth-wide organization. We all have the exact same teaching. We learn the same thing at the very same time.
So if they change something even majorly, like all 8 million will just suddenly agree with it, right?
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Away. But they said
they
said the previous one was based on the Bible, and it was from Jehovah.
I don't know which one you're referring to now, but
any of them. Doesn't that present kind of a quandary that the previous teachings they also said were spiritual food from Jehovah?
Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't create a quandary when there's a new understanding.
No, they didn't say it was their current understanding. They always say it's from Jehovah. They use different expressions to say that.
Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses use the Bible as their authority.
No, I'm saying they do.
Jehovah.
They said even Russell said his writings were not from men.
I don't know I'm not sure of that one. I've been one of Jehovah's Witnesses since I was practically born in it, and so I've seen nothing in my life that was never not good for me. But
really?
I don't know. And there's a lot of writings out there, propaganda writings out there.
Oh no, I'm just talking about. I mean, one guy made 2 really long pages of what our inspiration claims. While at the same time saying not inspired. Like even on the
I've never seen it.
Yeah, on the broadcasting, he said that the direction comes from Jehovah to Jesus to them.
Well, whenever we read from the Bible, it comes from Jehovah.
No, he doesn't mean just the words of the Bible. He means the direction, like the changes and the where does the new light come from? And then new light gets changed too. So how is that light?
Well, there is Jehovah's Holy Spirit that acts on individuals.
Right. That's an inspiration claim. Yes, that's Bible, another one saying it's the Holy. Their interpretations are from the Holy Spirit, just like they said in 1879. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think none of the changes have been damaging? I mean, the examples you used are very trivial. What about the different changes on blood? Like now, Jehovah is obviously okay with fractions of all kinds, and previously he was against all fractions, and that's in the literature. They said that's the same as taking blood, according to Jehovah.
Well, they say it's not, though. So many have investigated that. It's also a conscientious matter.
No,
so it doesn't really cause a lot of problems. If somebody wants to do it.
It's not.
They're not.
If you're not repentant, you are dissociating yourself. It says that in the Shepherd the Flock of God book. That's not a conscience matter. That's a threat.
I don't know how you have access to that, but that's all right. That's fine.
Everybody can see it. It's online. It was actually presented.
Oh, I know it is.
It was presented in a court case also in Australia. Investigation into Jehovah's Witness and child sexual abuse.
Oh, there's all kinds of things being investigated. Yes, and the point is, when it comes right down to the nitty gritty, we're just people. They're trying to do the best we can to serve people.
Oh, that's not how they present the governing body at all. They say it's the faithful slave distributing the spiritual food from Jehovah. So that just people thing, that's not going to really work for them. They control 8 million people.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say when I say people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for instance, what do you think of King David? He died a righteous man, okay, in the Bible. But you know what he did? He actually committed murder with Uriah the Hittite. But Jehovah forgave. Now there's things like that I don't understand completely, but Jehovah does. And anyway, there's been a lot of propaganda, a lot of things, and I've been like I said, we call it in the truth. I've been in the truth, basically almost born in it, and it has never ever hurt me or led me wrong.
Mm.
And with the research that I've done, I really love it. I wouldn't go anywhere else. It's like the apostles said to Jesus.
Yeah, they don't want you to go anywhere else. They say,
I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Yeah, there's millions and millions that don't want to go anywhere else. And again, we will be talked bad about by people.
Yeah, and
Russia, they're locking us up like we're a bunch of criminals,
And many other things that are written about are completely true. There's one support group that has 88,000 people in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't want to really. I'd love to talk to you about the Bible. I don't argue about the Bible. I don't want to leg wrestle anybody over the Bible.
Okay. Is there any book I could read now that would be that will continue to be the truth, or is that they're all just kind of contingent on future new light, right?
Well, there's truth in all of them, but
is?
If we stop learning, that's the day we're no longer living. And so
they don't present it as their current understanding. They present it as being from Jehovah. They use all kinds of phrases and expressions, and including that you must obey the slave to have Jehovah's approval, which is just a really outrageous statement for these imperfect men.
That's okay to feel that way for you, but the thing is,
it's not an emotion.
I've heard these discussions before.
Yeah.
And you're not the only person that doesn't, agree with Jehovah's Witnesses.
It's kind of a win-win situation, again, Did you ever hear that expression, like heads I win, tails you lose? So they win and they have all the authority as this slave from the Jehovah and the channel and all this kind of stuff. You must come to them for salvation and all these things. And at the same time, I have no accountability for what they say because new light, and a verse that is actually not even about changing doctrine. It's about the path of a righteous person compared with the path of a wicked person. So it's kind of a cool, setup for them, really.
And, you're entitled to feel the way you feel.
It's not an emotion. What do you think about that?
I personally love Jehovah's organization. And if I really discuss the negative aspects of things that people think, I'd rather look at the positive. I've lived a very good life. I have a hope of living forever on this earth. I love what the faithful, discreet slave that Jesus said we'd have to take the lead. I agree 100%.
That's not the words of that. You just kind of, that's a very loose paraphrase.
Jesus said there would be a faithful and discreet slave class that would take the lead.
No, he said, who really is the faithful and discreet slave? In this story, in this illustration that he was telling, he was certainly not predicting the Watchtower Society. They're most famous for their high level of control. Now they're famous for child sexual abuse. They're famous for their false predictions. Jesus warned about false prophets. He didn't say, they'll get new light. Don't worry about it, right?
Well, you know what? I do appreciate you have a viewpoint. And I do too. But you know what I'm going to do? I don't argue about the Bible, what I believe. I believe it. I love it. And, if we talk to everybody who disagreed, it'd just be discouraging.
Okay,
so I choose to do what I'm doing. And I appreciate your call, and I don't think I'm going to get anywhere in this conversation.
Is there a book that is will continue to be the truth or not really? They're all just
I'm going to tell you what, the books that we're using are just fine. And you have all the books we have.
Yeah. Why don't you use Rutherford's books anymore? Because that's what they told people back then, that it was the truth.
Well, that's back then. That was back then.
So the truth changes. Are you like this is like a postmodern view of truth. I mean, truth means, according to facts, according to reality.
I think we need to end the phone call because I think we're just sort of leg wrestling here. And I know why you are. That's all right. I need to go though. I'm only answering this phone because I stopped in for a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't argue about the Bible and Jehovah's Organization.
Yeah, they teach you to say you don't argue, but because that's a
No,
thought-stopping technique. But anyway, I appreciate your kindness. And
we're talking about something I love very dearly, and it's
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. God bless you.
Thank you.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.